Good afternoon and welcome to Nationwide News on the network service of the NTA. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has attended a special Thanksgiving service organized by the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Region 10, Abuja, to honor him, where he also dedicated his mandate to God and the Nigerian people. State House correspondent Hamza Musa Makarfi reports that Pastor Kalejaye, who represented the General Overseer, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, took the first and second reading from the book of Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 18 and Psalm 166, saying the power of thanksgiving is reposed in God who makes things possible. Pastor Kalejaye said the Vice President should have at the back of his mind at all times that the mandate to serve the people takes center stage. Vice President Osinbajo, who attended with his wife, appreciated the honor, saying he will not let the nation and its people down. The Vice President was presented with the copy of the Holy Bible and a portrait.
If the administration succeeds, if it goes well for this country, then it is well for all of us. But God looks upon his own people to pray. He looks to us to pray.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Kenneth Minima, and his Air Force counterpart, Air Marshal Adesola Amosu, have visited Maiduguri to ensure full takeoff of the Military Command and Control Center as directed by President Muhammadu Buhari. Speaking to journalists at the Maiduguri Air Force Base, the service chiefs reiterated the commitment of the armed forces to fight the insurgency and terrorism in the Northeast region. Correspondent Haman Jabani reports.
The two service chiefs who spoke to journalists separately at the Air Force Base after addressing officers and soldiers said they are in Maiduguri to see to the full takeoff of the Military Command and Control Center as directed by Mr. President. They said the visit is also to boost the morale of the officers and soldiers in the counter-insurgency operation and commended the invulnerable contribution of the people of Borno, Yobe and Adamawa states to the fight against Boko Haram.
In the armed forces generally, we operate on the concept of centralized control, and the execution is decentralized, often domiciled where the operation is taking place. So we have some level of command and control already within the operation area. We have just come in to ensure that they don't need to, the time that will be lost is closed up.
We are highly optimistic that this time, this drive will conclusively see the end of this madness.
The service chiefs appeal to the people in the state affected by incidents not relent in supporting and cooperating with the military in their effort to bring lasting peace to the Northeast region. In Maiduguri, Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Borno state government has again appealed to NEMA to take over the feeding of IDPs in camps across the state. Governor Zana Omar Mustafa renewed the appeal while receiving relief materials donated to IDPs in Borno by NEMA. Maimuna Garba reports.
Items presented include 1,200 bags of rice, 600 bags of beans, 100 jerrycans of cooking oil, and 100 cartons of soap. Receiving the items on behalf of the state government, the Deputy Governor Zana Omar Mustafa commended NEMA for coming out with a new strategy of providing food items to IDPs on whom the state has spent a lot. He said most of the seized localities have been liberated and expressed hope that soon some of the IDPs will return to their local governments. Alhaji Zana Omar Mustafa also appealed to the incoming government to assist the state through NEMA for additional food supply to help feed the IDPs when they return to their communities.
I've called on the DG and the NEMA to take over the feeding of all our camps. For no state government does not have the resources now to continue with what we've been doing. We spend over billions of naira to feed these camps.
Presenting the food items, Director General of NEMA, who was Presented by the Northeast Coordinator, Mohammed Kanar, said NEMA has fashioned out needed strategies for distribution of food items to the IDP camps in Borno. The DG said NEMA has viewed with keen interest the growing number of IDPs and the need to provide them with adequate requirement in the camps.
We are going to sit down to enumerate the requirement of these camps, and then we take it to Abuja to see that we get this approval so that every month we will get that allocation for this camp.
Senator Bukola Saraki of the governing All Progressives Congress from Kwara State has been elected unopposed as President of Nigeria's Senate. The position of the Deputy Senate President went to Senator Ike Ikweremadu of the People's Democratic Party from Enugu State. The election of the presiding officers was sequel to the order of proclamation by President Muhammadu Buhari that formally constituted the 8th Senate for a new 4-year tenure in line with the provisions of the Constitution. National Assembly correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
The first session of the 8th National Assembly shall hold.
Clerk to the National Assembly, Salisu Maikaswa, who read President Muhammadu Buhari's order of proclamation constituting the 8th Assembly, also conducted the election of presiding officers at a colorfully historic and remarkable event characterized with drama. With only 57 out of the 108 senators present at the commencement of the session, Senator Bukola Saraki, having been nominated and seconded unopposed, was returned elected as Senate President. Senator Ahmed Lawan from Yobe State, earlier adopted by the APC as sole candidate for the Senate presidency after a mock primary election, boycotted the event alongside members of the Unity Forum. On his part, Senator Ike Ikweremadu of the PDP, who was Deputy Senate President of the 7th Senate, defeated Senator Ali Ndume of the APC from Borno State by 50 votes to 12 to retain his position. The new Senate President Bukola Saraki and Deputy Senate President Ike Ikweremadu were thereafter sworn in by the Clerk to the National Assembly, Salisu Maikaswa, who also swore in former Senate President and 5th-term Senator David Mark as a mark of honor and respect. The remaining lawmakers were later sworn in by the new President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki. In his acceptance speech, the new Senate President described his election as a call to service and saluted President Muhammadu Buhari for his steadfastness in defending the right of the National Assembly to choose, describing him as a true Democrat, worthy partner, and dependable ally in the task of nation building.
The change that our people voted for is a change from a life of poverty, misery, and hopelessness to a life of prosperity, happiness, and confidence in the future. This is a change that all of us in the National Assembly must strive to bring about. We must justify the privilege of representation conferred on us by our people. Nigerians want to see a proactive National Assembly to forge a new and prosperous Nigeria.
The driving force behind my coming to the Senate is still to contribute to the development of my state, to the development of Nigeria.
I'm going to navigate the Benin people back again to prominence in national politics.
I'm here to see what one can do that will improve the security situation back home and indeed the security situation in Nigeria.
If these youths are not employed today, Nigeria is not secured. So this will be my first priority in the Senate.
With the election and inauguration of presiding officers, the 8th Senate has formally begun a new 4-year term. But unlike before, different political parties, the governing APC now produce a Senate President, while the PDP has the Deputy Senate President. What remains to be seen, therefore, is how the two presiding officers can bury their differences and work together towards actualizing the agenda for change in all spheres of Nigeria's national life. From the National Assembly, Adamu Sambo.
Moving ahead, the House member representing Bogoro Das, Tafawa Balewa Federal Constituency, Bauchi State, Yakubu Dogara, has emerged the Speaker of the 8th House of Representatives after polling a total of 182 votes to beat Olufemi Gbajabiamila, representing Surulere 1 Federal Constituency of Lagos State, who polled 174 votes. National Assembly correspondent Fayin Okafo reports.
Honorable Yakubu Dogara, do solemnly swear
that I will be faithful,
that I will be faithful,
and bear true allegiance,
to
the Federal Republic of Nigeria,
to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yakubu Dogara taking his oath of allegiance as the Speaker of the 8th House of Representatives. With this victory, he becomes the 7th Speaker of the House of Representatives since the restoration of democracy in Nigeria in 1999.
We continue to be the bulwark for the defense of the rights and privileges of the common man. We shall continue to champion the rights of the weak and poor. We shall continue to be the anchor for the well-being of our people.
Also sworn in as the Deputy Speaker, Yusuf Suleiman Lassun, representing Oshogbo Central Iropodo Federal Constituency, Osun State, who won with a total of 203 votes, defeating Mohammed Tahir Mongunu of Mongunu Marte Federal Constituency, Borno State, who got 153 votes. Other members were sworn in by the newly elected Speaker. Members of the 8th House of Representatives say the task ahead for the 8th National Assembly is to ensure the speedy dispensation of their legislative duties and in particular to strengthen their oversight role so as to tackle corruption, insecurity and crime and to work in tandem with the vision of the President, Muhammadu Buhari.
The only thing now is for the House, for Yakubu Dogara to now see how he can stabilize the House so that there will be peace and progress for the nation.
People don't just remote elections anymore. What it means is that people can actually say this is where we want to go, and it goes that way. So I think that is one of the good lessons to be taken away from today's exercise.
The emergence of an independent speaker that has the support of most of the major parties of the House would result in a very in a unified House, in a House where legislative business will be quicker to resolve.
We want a very independent House, the House that can determine their own positions.
We're going to go beyond looking at bills and passing motions. We're actually going to devote time to look at issues, critical issues like agriculture, health, education, security.
From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Okafor, NTA News.
Meanwhile, at today's sitting, the Senate has formally resolved to notify President Muhammadu Buhari of the election of Senator Bukola Saraki as President of the Senate and Ike Ekweremadu as the Deputy Senate President. This followed the adoption of the first motion on the floor of the 8th Senate sponsored by the Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu. Correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the Senate President Bukola Saraki has formally sworn in Senator Ahmed Lawan from Yobe State and other members of the Unity Forum who were absent at the inaugural session of the Senate and election of presiding officers. Meanwhile, the group at a news briefing promised to take all necessary political and legal measures towards challenging the breach of their constitutional rights to strengthen democracy process in the country.
Has not been met, went ahead to conduct an election that shuts its door to about 53 senators, which would remain unacceptable until what would meet democratic parameters is done.
President Muhammadu Buhari has called on all the elected representatives of the people to focus on the enormous task of bringing enduring positive change to the lives of Nigerians. Reacting to the outcome of the just concluded election of leaders of the National Assembly, the president noted that even though he would have preferred APC's earlier arrangement, constitutional process was somewhat followed. In a statement by the Presidential Advisor, Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the President reiterated his earlier stand that he did not have any preferred candidates and that he is willing to work with whoever lawmakers they elect. The President stated that the stability of the constitutional order and overall interest of the common man are uppermost on his mind as far as the National Assembly elections were concerned. Members of the newly inaugurated 8th National Assembly have been urged to be united in purpose, irrespective of political leanings, and work in unison for the common goal of the people. Former President General Ibrahim Babangida made the call in Minna in an exclusive interview with NTA News correspondent Abdul Fattah Adediran has the details.
Democracy, no doubt, is a game of numbers. While the majority may have their way, the minority surely will have their say. Democracy seeks to promote good governance. It is a system of governance that calls for greater understanding of the forces at work and for compromise whenever the occasion demands. Former President General Ibrahim Babangida urges the 8th National Assembly and indeed the other two arms of government to work together to bring about greater dividends of democracy.
The executive, the judiciary, and the legislative must be able to work together for the common good of the people. That's all they are there for. And that's why they are educated, that's why they take those positions. They should be able to come together in the interest of the entire nation.
Nigeria, he says, should maintain the lead in democratic governance, with members of the National Assembly consulting widely on issues of national importance. In Abuja, Abdul Fattah Adediran, NTA News.
Barely a day after the inauguration and election of the leadership of the 8th National Assembly, Nigerians are expressing their concerns and expectations. The expectations were raised by guests on NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria. Joy Uzo reports.
The discussion was on setting the agenda for the 8th National Assembly. Participants on the program noted that what played out Tuesday during the election of principal officers on both the Senate and House of Representatives was a display of true democratic ideals, adding that it was a victory for democracy.
It is significant to a very great extent, showing that the National Assembly, the members of the National Assembly, are willing and they are serious about asserting the independence of the legislature from whatever external influences and control that persons or political parties may want to exert on the National Assembly.
So whether they call it a rebellion or not, it still ended in victory, but more so victory for the legislature.
What has been done yesterday is constitutional, because the constitution of the country does not even say that the presiding officers of both houses of the National Assembly must come from the majority party. What the constitution says is that the members of the National Assembly will pick their own presiding officers. And did they pick their presiding officers? Yes, they did it.
The guests were emphatic on the need for the lawmakers to be thorough and expeditious in the passage of bills. The guests suggested that the 8th National Assembly should be forthright in checkmating the excesses of other arms of government to protect the nation's democracy. The issue of full autonomy for local government areas in Nigeria also generated comments from the participants.
If the 8th Assembly should grant this autonomy, I believe that will strengthen all spheres of government of the country.
The guests advised that the interests of Nigeria and Nigerians should take center stage in the two chambers of the National Assembly before any other considerations. In Abuja, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
Nasarawa State Governor Omar Tanko Almakura has tasked the 5th State Assembly to initiate bills and make laws that will fast-track development of the state. He made the appeal at the inauguration of the 5th Assembly in Lafia. Joshua Ojito has the details.
The 5th Assembly in Nasarawa State was inaugurated following the proclamation on the floor of the House by its clerk, Mr. Mekefi Ego, on behalf of Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura. Governor Almakura, who was in attendance when the House elected its Speaker, Ibrahim Balarabe Abdullahi of the APC, representing Uja Umwasha constituency, and the Deputy Speaker Godia Akwashiki of the PDP, congratulated the House for the peaceful conduct of the election, which was done unopposed. Unlike the 4th Assembly, the governor expressed optimism that the relationship between the executive and the legislature will be cordial for the benefit of the people in the states.
The way and manner they conducted themselves, even as members elect,
One is not in any doubt that Nasarawa State is very lucky this time around to have a crop of legislators that are mature, that are committed, that are patriotic, who the Nasarawa State electorate need and require to move this step forward.
The election of the Speaker followed a motion moved for his nomination by a member representing Lafia's Central Constituency, Abubakar Zanwa, and was unanimously adopted by all the members. For the 5th Assembly in Nasarawa State, the All Progressives Congress APC has 18 members, where the People's Democratic Party PDP has 6 members. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Time now to link up with our Lagos Network Center, where Jennifer is standing by for more stories in that zone. Hello, Jennifer. So good to see you.
Thank you, Jide, and good to see you. Good evening, and many thanks for joining us in Lagos. Issues relating to copyright as they affect the record archives management and related institutions have been brought to the front burner as Nigeria joins the global community to mark the International Archives Day. Email Dore reports that the event with the theme Copyright, Interpreting the Law for Archives and Allied Institutions also provided a platform for appreciating the contributions of archives to human and economic development.
Archives and records are important repository of creative information for the purpose of research, planning, and the preservation of heritage for posterity. These information come in the form of maps, artifacts, policy files, journals, among others. It is in recognition of this fact that the International Archive Day was set aside to create the awareness and provide guidelines for copyright laws and management.
We were able to extray extensively the provisions of the rights the owner has, with particular reference to the work created, the year, the duration, and how it goes about protecting the works in case the work is infringed. People should know certain things that guide their performances, their use of records, such that they will not fall foul of the law.
Put in place all the necessary measures to ensure that in Nigeria today we have all those laws in place, and the information privacy law is something that is very key that they really need to tap into now.
Speakers identified its relevance to the promotion of good governance.
For you to be able to project and solve humanity problems in future, you must know your background, where you are coming from.
Government is supposed to provide platforms for people to grow.
The International Archive Day was set aside worldwide to recognize the contributions of archives to national development.
Nigeria's democratic institutions will be strengthened if the processes that led to the successful 2015 general elections are sustained and credible individuals are appointed to head these institutions. This was a consensus of participants at the review meeting on media and 2015 elections held in Lagos. Deji Dowu reports that the review is organized by the Democratic Governance for Development under the auspices of the United Nations Development Program, UNDP.
This review meeting, the first after the 2015 general elections, focuses mainly on deepening Nigeria's democracy through strengthening of democratic institutions, increased media participation in the electoral process, and improved voter education and enlightenment.
It's important to ensure that there's a continuous process of distributing permanent voter cards so that those who are eligible to vote have their cards before the next elections.
More of citizens' engagement, more of citizens' education, so people will know their right, they will know the electoral processes, they will know what is involved.
Participants applauded INEC and the media for the effective collaboration that led to the credibility and widespread acceptance of the 2015 general elections. They, however, expect Nigeria to consolidate on the gains made so far.
We have to assist INEC to institutionalize the election management system.
I hope it will be possible for the Commission coming in to be able to merge the accreditation process with the voting process.
The two-day meeting is attended by representatives of both the print and electronic media, INEC, non-government organizations, and is coordinated by the United Nations Development Programme. In Lagos, Digido, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Tourism, Culture and National Orientation says it has decided to adopt private-public partnership for the rebranding of the National Theatre. This was made known by the General Manager of the National Theatre, Yusuf Kabir, at a media briefing in Lagos. The report.
In a bid to transform the National Theatre, the necessary machinery have been set in motion to upgrade the National Theatre in line with other developed parts of the world, where infrastructural facilities such as five-star hotels, shopping malls, offices, water parks, leisure and multi-level car parks are operational.
Our grasses, definitely they are not meant to be cutting the grass, only the lobs are meant to stay with the grasses.
The General Manager, Yusuf Kabiru, noted that the facilities will be built and developed on the fallow land where the National Theatre is located.
By the PPP model, it will bring back the National Theatre because the traffic will be high and will generate more revenue and will be less reliant on federal government.
Yusuf Kabiru also emphasized that the new development is not only for profit-making, but also to restore the National Theatre to its lost glory and more.
And that report ends our contribution from Lagos. Jide, back to you for more on the news.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, for your contributions from our Lagos Network Center. The 8th House of Representatives held its first sitting Wednesday with a motion by Representative Kingsley Chinda, Rivers State, calling for the protection of all corps members serving in various states of the country. The member said it had become imperative to urge the relevant authorities to provide adequate security for corps members following the recent death of a corps member in Kwara State. A minute's silence was observed for all corps members who died in various parts of the country. National Assembly correspondent Ifai Okafor reports that in another development, former Speaker of the House of Representatives in 1993, Agunwa Anakwe, led a delegation of 4 former speakers, deputy speakers and some principal officers on a courtesy call to Speaker Yakubu Dogara. Nigeria has continued to play a key role in the peaceful use of outer space technologies, both at home and abroad. This makes it imperative to develop strategic and robust cyber security against cyber threats, cyber terrorism, and other forms of cyber crimes. Science correspondent Kirian Imiayo reports that a 3-day cyber security conference anchored on the economy, defense and space has commenced in Abuja to address the issues.
Increasing reliance on cyber technologies as an integral part of our daily lives, especially in banking operations, global communication, data collection, transfers, and service delivery. Director General, National Space Research and Development Agency, NASDA, Professor Saidu Mohammed, noted that fraudsters and hackers have adopted the cyber technology to commit various crimes and terrorist activities.
We are the custodian of space assets of Nigeria. And by that is at the highest level of technology. We all feel threatened, and we believe that satellite is a major infrastructure, a major gateway to most of these things, internet and the rest of them, that provides the platform for cybersecurity.
A U.S.-based Nigerian group partnering with NASDA to fight cybercrimes promised to train Nigerians and provide the techniques to block groups that conduct espionage, disrupt critical infrastructure, and plant malicious software.
One of the worst things that we as Nigerians feel is the impression that the larger world has about Nigeria. And it is totally unfair and unwarranted. And that's one of the things we want to improve by helping make the awareness, not just within Nigeria, but also outside of the country, as to how good we can be within Nigeria technologically, as well as how we can lock down our national security so that it is not so wide open to the outside world.
Cyber intrusions and attacks have increased dramatically over the last decade, exposing sensitive personal and business information, disrupting critical operations, and imposing high risk on the economy.
With the signing into law of Cybercrime Act, cybercrime is now a punishable offense in Nigeria. The growing need for information and communication technologies in nearly all aspects of human endeavor has made cybersecurity a key issue in many countries. A few countries have actually taken steps to strengthen their cyberspace technologies, but Nigeria and many other developing countries are having challenges achieving that. Hence, the need for the 3-day conference to address the issues. In Abuja, Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
Information and Communication Technology (ICT) experts in Africa have perceived that Nigeria has all it takes to improve business and economic activities using ICT in the quest for a solid economic base for the country. This view was shared by participants at a roundtable organized by Africa ICT Alliance holding in Abuja. Ruben Okala reports.
The internet affects economies positively in many ways by facilitating faster and wider access to information, promotes competition in the markets as well as all spheres of development. According to a global survey of 140 countries by the International Telecommunication Union (ITU) on household internet penetration, Nigeria ranked 87th with about 8% penetration. The Abuja Roundtable for ICT experts is aimed at mobilizing African business leaders for the future of the internet.
It is necessary for the African business leaders to be able to come together and decide what they want and get their voice heard.
Of what benefit is the roundtable for Nigeria?
So this has major economic benefit because much businesses are now online. We have a lot of e-commerce activities. So this needs to be sustained.
As government, so the principles are that the major principle will be the multi-stakeholder model of governing the internet. That is very, very key.
Nigeria's active internet users currently stands at about 16 million. ICT experts have attributed this to the low internet penetration in the country. In Abuja, Ruben Okala, NTA News.
Plateau State Assembly elects Speaker and other key officers. For this and other stories, we now take you to Jos Center, where Femichit is on standby. Over to you, Femichit.
Hello and welcome to Jos. A new speaker has emerged for the Plateau State House of Assembly. He is Peter Ajang Azi of the All Progressives Congress, representing Jos Northwest constituency. Correspondent Nid Dimka reports that this is sequel to yesterday's failed sitting.
Scheduled to the Constitution of the Federal Government. So help me God.
That signaled the commencement of legislative business by the 8th Assembly when it reconvened today. Mr. Peter Azi of the All Progressives Congress emerged Speaker when his closest contender, Estefanus Monsat of the People's Democratic Party, stepped down after due consultations with the leadership of his party. Subsequently, the clerk of the House presented the Speaker with symbols of authority of the Assembly. Next was election of the Deputy Speaker, where two nominees also emerged, Yusuf Gagdi of the PDP, representing Kantana constituency, and Amos Kumtul, also of the PDP, representing Langtang North. Yusuf Gagdi emerged winner, polling 13 votes. The House then went into a 15-minute recess to allow for the Speaker to take over leadership. This was then followed by the oath taken by all members of the Assembly.
I will therefore appear with you bearing our political, ethnic, religious differences and maximum to operate, enable us to work as a team.
It will be recalled that the House failed to elect principal officers yesterday when both nominees polled on a tie. Mr. Aziz is the 11th Speaker of the Assembly since inception. In Jos, Nit Dimka, NTA News.
Following the suspension of the 6-week strike embarked upon by civil servants in Plateau State, few workers resumed work. Correspondent Rinret Lot has a situation report.
At the Secretariat and some parastatals and agencies, only a few workers were in offices, while others were in groups discussing. For most of them and residents of the city, the suspension of the industrial action is a welcome development.
We believe that positive things are on the way.
By the special grace of God, we also put in our best to move the state forward.
The calling off of the strike is a big relief to everybody, both the students, the marketers, the civil servants themselves, everybody.
You know, the workers are the engine room of the government. If the workers are on strike, the government cannot move.
Meanwhile, Plateau State Head of Civil Service, Mr. Ezekiel Dalio, said the agreement was reached following extensive discussions between government and the organized labor.
Some concessions that the government has given, which are considered acceptable to labor, and it's by the terms of this agreement that today labor will make their position known by calling of the strike.
State Chairman, Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria said the strike by Jusun has lingered due to some peculiarities.
It's a national strike. It is not a local strike, as in the case of the one by the organized labor on the Plateau.
It will be recalled that the head of service, following the suspension of the strike yesterday, called on civil servants to give an enabling to advance the cause of the Plateau project. State NLC Chairman Jibrin Banchur spelled out the conditions for calling off the strike to include payment of 2 months outstanding salary arrears to civil servants, payment of current salaries together with monthly arrears, with the view to offsetting the backlog of arrears, among others.
The parties shall conclude negotiations within 30 working days after the suspension of the strike, subject to the review of the period by the parties. The unions of this day agreed to suspend the strike and hereby call on workers to resume work immediately.
In Jos, Rinret Lot, NTA News.
Governor Mohammed Abdullahi Abubakar of Bauchi State says his administration inherited a cumulative debt of 125 billion naira, comprising both external and domestic loans. The governor, in a statewide broadcast, assured the people that his administration will recover and return properties taken away. The report.
Governor Mohammed Abdullahi Abubakar said his administration has inherited a sum of over 48 billion naira as domestic loans, while foreign loans stands at 18 billion naira. Other liabilities inherited by his administration are contractual liabilities of over 41 billion naira, state gratuity of over 7 billion naira, and local government gratuity of over 6 billion naira.
Presently, the Treasury of Bauchi State has next to nothing of accessible funds. This is quite disturbing.
Governor Mohammed Abubakar further stated that from records available, a total sum of 854 billion naira, excluding ecological funds, have accrued to Bauchi State in the last 8 years. On the issue of agriculture with regards to this year's farming season, he noted that the state only has 1,200 tons of fertilizer as against the required 20,000 tons.
Rather than discussing consolidation upon gains, here we are, a new leadership in Bauchi State, sourcing means to commence the initial stages of basic development.
He, however, states that his administration will focus on ways of improving internally generated revenue through enhanced and sound financial management, revenue generation, and fiscal responsibility. He has since dissolved all local government caretaker committee chairmen and also directed that all local government accounts be frozen.
And that's our package from Jos. Jide, it's back to you in Abuja for more news.
Thank you very much, Femchit, in our Jos Network Center. The National Judicial Council, under the chairmanship of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mahmood Mohammed, has considered the report submitted by its committee on the performance evaluation of judicial officers of superior courts and decided to invite 3 High Court judges from 2 states to appear before it for low performance and show cause why disciplinary action should not be taken against them. The council also, in a statement by its acting director of information, Soji Loye, says this was reached at its 73rd meeting. It says 3 other heads of courts, 3 High Court judges and 1 customary Court of Appeal judge for the states were recommended and forwarded to their respective state governors for appointment. It added that, pursuant to new rule, 2 candidates forwarded to the council by a state judicial service commission for appointment as High Court judges were rejected in an interview by the council due to their poor knowledge of basic law. We now take a break to bring you some commercial messages. Don't go away. Now to join Enugu Center, where Ngozi is on standby. Ngozi, it's over to you.
Thank you, Jide. Welcome to reports from Enugu Network Center. Enugu State Governor Chief Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi says construction work will soon commence at major roads in Nsukka to enhance development in the area. The governor was speaking when he went on an inspection tour of the area. Correspondent Ijomu Gweke has the details.
On arrival at Enugu Road, the major road that leads to Nsukka town from the express, the governor was astonished with the bad state of the road. He expressed dismay over the inconvenience encountered by motorists and road users plying the area. The people of Nsukka, on seeing the governor, besieged him with complaints of flooding because of the road. The situation, they said, has occurred for years without solution. The chairman of Nsukka Local Government Council, Mr. Charles Ugu, who took the governor around the town, said lack of good drainage system caused the overflooding and blockage of one lane when it rains. Governor Ugwuanyi assured the people that work will soon commence on the road to reduce the hardship faced by people in the area. Governor also inspected the Ofolono and Ogrugu Road, which were flooded. In Enugu, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
17 suspects who are allegedly involved in criminal activities in Imo State have been arrested and paraded by the Imo State Police Command. Briefing newsmen in Owerri, the Police Commissioner Austin Evabakohu said the state correspondent of News Agency of Nigeria was one of the victims abducted by a syndicate of kidnappers but was later released. Correspondent Beatrice Anyam has a report.
The suspects who are engaged in different nefarious activities were caught at different locations where they were perfecting their criminal acts. According to the police commissioner, the kidnapping syndicate who have been terrorizing Ngwakbala local government area were arrested and now helping the police in their investigations. Others were those engaged in stealing and trafficking in school children, while others arrested include armed robbers and car snatchers in various parts of the state using master key. Some of the suspects who admitted committing the crime said it was
We now take another commercial break. When we return, more stories ahead. Stay with us.
Come to Sharon Ultimate Hotels, Abuja, the ultimate place to be.
The Nigerian Television Authority, in partnership with the Albino Foundation, celebrate the maiden edition of the UN International Albinism Awareness Day on 13th June 2015. The International Albinism Awareness Day, aimed at reducing human rights abuses against persons with albinism, will feature an albinism walk, workshop, gala night, and lots more. Be part of this. Sponsor this noble cause. For sponsorship details, please call.
Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comfort? If you do, then for your next event, a stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit Jade's Hotel at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At Jade's, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotels.com. You can also call us on 09291-9321 or 0810-909-7956. Jade's Hotels. Welcome to life.
Hotel The Horizon has rebranded with upgrade of their facilities. Guests and visitors to Hotel The Horizon are certainly in for an amazing good time. Located in a very serene environment with a crop of well-trained personnel, Hotel The Horizon has tastefully and exquisitely furnished rooms and suites. Host your events at our fully air-conditioned, multi-purpose, pillar-free banquet hall. Enjoy our exclusive continental and national delicacies. Have relaxing moments at our state-of-the-art Fijat poolside bar and grill, opened 24 hours daily. Let us take the stress off you. Take advantage of our excellent outdoor catering services for all your events. Hotel The Horizon, situated at Plot 5, Candy Close, Wuse 2, Abuja.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is NTA Nationwide News. More state houses of assembly inaugurated as Sokoto State House of Assembly gets new leaders. Details with Bala in our Sokoto studios. Bala, take it from here.
Thank you, Olajide, and welcome to Sokoto. The 8th Assembly of the Sokoto State Legislature has been inaugurated. Muhammad Nasir reports that member representing Gada East constituency, Salih Humaidaji, was elected Speaker of the Assembly.
The opening session of the 8th Assembly of the Sokoto State Legislature was presided over by the clerk to the House, Muhammad Menasara Ahmad. Member representing the East constituency, Salih Humaidaji, was elected the Speaker of the Sokoto Legislature unopposed. Clerk to the House, Muhammad Menasara Ahmad, administered oath of office on the Speaker. Deputy Speaker of the House was also elected unopposed. He is member representing Bodengano's constituency, Abubakar Magaji. All members were also sworn in respectively on the directive of the Speaker. The Speaker of the 8th Assembly, Salih Humaidaji, pledged to be just and fair and called for the cooperation of all members to provide dividends of democracy to the people of the state.
I would also like to use this opportunity to remind you all that we are now voice and eyes of our electorate. The interests of our people should be above personal interests. The interest of our dear state is paramount.
17 out of the 30 members were re-elected, while 13 are fresh members. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
Stakeholders have advocated for the preservation and effective utilization of the works of founders of the Sokoto Caliphate for the benefit and overall development of the society. The stakeholders extolled the virtues of the founders of the Caliphate while speaking at the 10th anniversary in office of the Emir of Gwandu, Alhaji Muhammad Ilyas Bashar. Correspondent Noura Tanko Akili completes the report.
Alhaji Muhammad Ilyas Bashar was stubborn Emir of Gwandu in 2005, thus becoming the 20th Emir of Gwandu following the removal of the 19th Emir. It was against this background that friends, relatives and well-wishers converged on Abdullahi Fodio Palace to rejoice with the Emir on his 10th anniversary in office. In his address, the Kebbi State Governor, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, described the works of the founders of the Caliphate as valuable assets that must be preserved for future generations. He said Kebbi State Government, in collaboration with the Sultanate Council and other relevant stakeholders, will join hands in establishing a modern internet library for the preservation of the works. Earlier, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Saad Abubakar III, who emphasized the importance of preservation of the historical facts, urged people to seek for both religious and Western education. The Emir of Gwandu, Alhaji Muhammad Ilyas Bashar, who expressed appreciation for the honor done to him, urged people to live in peace with one another and pursue for knowledge as the only tool that can guarantee development. The event was attended by dignitaries from within and outside Kebbi State. In Birnin Kebbi, Nojanko Akili, NTA News.
That is it from Sokoto. It's over to you today in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Bala, from our Sokoto Network Center. Experts on football matters are advocating for the political will and strong institutions to curb corruption in Nigeria's football, as is presently being done at the Football Association FIFA. Talatu reports that they were speaking on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live.
Experience in a vacuum even as the sun begins to set on his career. The three-time Olympian was speaking at a just concluded 5th Under-20 Taekwondo training workshop in Abuja, which had over 30 participants.
And we're going to continue programs like this so that we have well-rounded Taekwondo athletes that are good in Taekwondo, they're good in other things. And I think it's going to be very good overall for the sport.
Mali curated a big upset in the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand Wednesday, knocking out former champions and fellow Africans Ghana 3-0, with Diadia Samaseko scoring a brace.
Kidone Bakley opens up here for Bakley! Oh, marvellous! And they lead it 2, and that is simply sensational. Kidone Bakley with a beauty for Mali before them.
Mali now advanced to face either Germany or Nigeria in the quarterfinals. In other results, United States of America knocked out Colombia by a long goal, courtesy of a strike by Rubio Rubin. Goalkeeper Ibrahim Asai saved 3 penalties as Senegal beat Ukraine 3-1 after the regulation time ended 1-1, while Serbia defeated Hungary by 2-1 in extra time. Meanwhile, the round of 16 fixtures continued Thursday, with Nigeria set to take on Germany. Austria face Uzbekistan. Portugal meet host New Zealand, while Brazil have a date against Uruguay. The Nigeria versus Germany match will be broadcast live on the NTA at 8 a.m. With sports update, Kenei Maburike, NTA News.
And that sports update completes our package on NTA Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Many thanks for watching. Good evening.